Travel Wise, a platform where we discuss all things about travel. I'm your host, Tenny Samagi, coming to you from my hometown of Woodside, Queens, New York. And today we have a very special guest as we're going to discuss one of my bucket list destinations that I've been wanting to do since I am a Christian, which is Israel. But before I introduce you to my guest, I like to remind everybody, if you are watching this live, please hashtag live. And if you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay. Make sure you tell us where you're coming from so we can acknowledge all of you. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and YouTube. You could also catch us on Amazon Fire, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or simply download the PHLV radio app available on all iOS and Android phones. Now, today we're going to discuss one of my favorite books. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to discuss one of my favorite, I wouldn't say favorite, on my, one of my I should say bucket list destinations that that I've been wanting to go to since I'm a Christian, and I always wanted to see what Jerusalem looks like outside of what I see in encyclopedias and websites, and of course Christian books and the Bible. So I'd like to introduce you Adi Leecher, who is based in Israel, the north part of Israel in Haifa. He's a travel agent. He owns Eland Tours, which has been in business since 2002. And as I mentioned, they're located in the city of Haifa, where they emphasize their business on pilgrimages in Israel, Jordan, and Egypt. So without further ado, please bash those heart buttons as I introduce you, Adi. I should say, is it shalom in Jewish?
Yeah, that's shalom, shalom, and hello from the Holy Land.
Holy Land, which is, can you just tell us how beautiful is the Holy Land?
So the Holy Land is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Many people think about Israel, they know about Israel, they read the Bible, they heard from friends, from family that came here. So Israel is a very small country in the Middle East, next to the Mediterranean Sea. Actually, we have 4 seas in Israel. The Mediterranean Sea is the biggest one. It's a small place, but it's a holy place. It's a very visited place, and it's the place of, let's say, tourism started, pilgrims started in Israel. People came to Israel so many years ago. The focus point is Holy Land, to be on the footsteps of Jesus. We offer a lot of things in Israel, not just the religious part, but yes, that's the focus. That's the main place to come, the main attraction in Israel.
I'd like to ask you, how did you live in Israel all your life? And second, how did this family business, travel business, come about?
So actually, I was not born in Israel. Israel is a special place because it's a country that accepted people from all over the world, Jewish people, to come and live here. So many people in Israel, maybe not the first generation, maybe the second or the third one, came from other places. Personally, me, I was born in Romania. So it's only a 2 hours flight ticket from Israel. But I came here as a small boy, small baby, let's say. I came like at 2 years old. And it started with my father, actually. It was not his main job, tourism, but he liked doing it for all his life. And when he retired, he decided, okay, let's open a travel agency because I like it. And the demand was there. People asked him, please, can you help us to come to the Holy Land? We cannot find good operators. Maybe you can do it for us. So with family and friends, he started it. And actually, he passed away in 2010. And from then, me and my mother took over the business. And we grew. a lot because Israel was, let's say, unexpected number of people to come here. And now in 2022, after 3 hard years of Corona, we finally started working again, and we can see it. People want to travel and people want to come to Israel. Many people had it on the bucket list probably, and everybody wants to come.
Yeah, I've been wanting to come to Israel for almost 2 decades. And I grew up in New York too, and I'm a teacher. And, we always have those Jewish holidays off. I mean, last week was Yom Kippur. And then I know there's another holiday coming. I think is it Shivot
It's Sukkot.
Oh, Sukkot. Sorry about that. I know it started with an S.
Yeah, it's the holiday of the court, not court as judgment, but court as sit out in like tents outside and live like the Jewish people lived during the exit from Egypt to Israel, when they had to live in a court and every day they needed to move with it and then build it again. So that's like the explanation of the holiday.
Now, tell me more about tourism in Israel. I mean, how does the country, like I would say Japan and most countries, they really rely on tourism as their ways of as their means of the economy being stable. How is it in Israel? And then also with the pandemic happening, how did you adapt to those changes in the tourism industry?
So Israel is not depending on tourism. So let's say the country as a country don't need it to live. We have, the high-tech country, we are the innovation country, Israel. A lot of money is coming from other places to the country, but me or our industry, let's say, we love tourism. This is why we are here, because it's not the same money like in high-tech, but the feeling and talking to people and traveling the world and seeing different people, that make us happy. So it's a fun place to work at as a travel agent. We have a big increase, so people want to come. We can't up to demand. So as you know, all over the world, we have a lot of issues with flight tickets. Same thing in Israel. So many flight companies that flew before don't have the same personnel that work for them. So flight ticket is expensive now. Some hotels as well don't have enough staff. So again, prices go up. So the country doesn't, how to say, they want to have tourists, but it's not number one for them. But again, for us as an industry, we do it. This is our life.
And it's your passion as well to just, to show tourists how beautiful the country is. Now, I do want you to break down for me the geographical map of Israel. Now, where do travelers, where is the main hub where travelers arrive from, whether US, Europe? First of all, yes.
So Israel, as I said, is a very small country, but we have everything. You can go from north to south of Israel. You can drive it in like 5 hours. So that's the whole country. West to east, it's about 2 hours drive, let's say. In the north, you have the Hermon mountain, the Golan Heights. So that's our mountains. Winter time, you can go and ski there. So that's an option. In the same time, you can take your car after you finish and go to the Dead Sea. You will drive like 2 hours and a half, and you arrive to a place that is minus 430 meters under the ground. You have beautiful hotels, you have the Dead Sea, and you can make a bath in the same day. And again, you can take your car and go to Tel Aviv, another hour of drive, and you arrive to the Mediterranean coast, a beautiful place with great nightlife. And again, you did everything in one day. That's special about Israel, that everything is so close by. But in Israel, unlike other countries, like let's say England, when you go to London, you just arrive in the middle of the city and just explore. Rome, the same. Even New York City, you arrive in Manhattan and you just go around and see everything. Israel is a little bit different. It's close by, but it's preferable to come with a guide. So come here, take a guide, come with a group. That's much better, and you can explore and see everything.
Yeah, I definitely would need a guide. And I think it's probably one of the countries where you have to have a guide to appreciate the country and the history. I remember going to Greece and I did a private tour, and I know if I didn't have a private guide, I wouldn't appreciate the history of the ancient sites, and I feel like that's the same way with Israel. Now, what would you recommend travelers? What should they see first in Israel?
So first of all, when you arrive to Israel, you will arrive to Ben Gurion Airport. That's our main hub, the biggest airport, the international one. It's located about 25 minutes drive from Tel Aviv. So Tel Aviv is not our capital, but it's the capital of having fun. Yeah. And if you go to the other side, you arrive to Jerusalem. From the airport to Jerusalem, it takes about 45 minutes, depending on traffic. And then Jerusalem, that's the holiest city. That's the place that is most important for Jewish, for Christian, for Muslims. So many religions fight about Israel, but that's the holy place for them. So in a small place, you have all the important things for all three religions. And then you can go to the Dead Sea area, you can go to Haifa, Tiberias, Nazareth. I think, let's say, in 5 or 6 days, you can see all the main things in Israel and appreciate it.
Now, in your words, I like to ask, what is your favorite city in Israel?
So how can I say Haifa for me is the best one? That's because I live here. But what I like about Haifa, it's like more quiet. Haifa is the third biggest city in Israel. So we have Tel Aviv, or the center of Israel. You have Jerusalem, and then Haifa. Haifa is beautiful, is relaxing. We have good air. We have the beach, green. We have parking here. That's appreciated after going to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. But every city is special in our own way. So Jerusalem is for the soul, Tel Aviv is for having fun, and Haifa is for relaxing.
I mean, having fun is a little bit vague. So I want to say, how do you have fun in Israel? And you're mentioning Tel Aviv. What is fun about Tel Aviv?
Okay, so Tel Aviv is called also the White City, and that has two meanings. So the White City, first of all, because many buildings are white. But the second thing, because it's every night is a white night. Nobody is going to sleep. It's the non-stop city. You have the best restaurants in the world, a good culinary experience. You have bars, you have clubs, you have the beach. So having fun in Tel Aviv, everybody is accepted. Nobody, because Israel is, let's say, in Jerusalem, it's a religious part. Tel Aviv is all in. So everybody is accepted in Tel Aviv. You can be crazy, you can be from the gay community, you can be ultra-Orthodox. Everybody is the same in Tel Aviv. Nobody will judge you. That's important. And it's so close to the airport. So, it's the first thing you see. But it's like giving Manhattan a good run for their money,
Except, the airports here in New York, they're not as close proximity. It's still JFK is still a little bit far from Manhattan. I would say Newark is about 30-minute train ride, but when you arrive there, I don't think travelers can actually have fun. Unlike if you were to arrive in the first thing that can pop up to a traveler when they come to Israel is like, hey, let's have fun. I heard this podcast. Let's head out to Tel Aviv. So I want to segue into Jerusalem, because that's actually on my bucket list of cities to visit in my lifetime. So how special is Jerusalem in terms of like the religious history? Like what's so mesmerizing about the city?
So Jerusalem didn't change for a long time. Most of Jerusalem, or let's say in Jerusalem, you have the old part and the new part. The new part is the place that we have our parliament, that we have the buildings, we have the businesses, the high tech. So everything is in the new part. That's not interesting for us. The old part is the interesting place. So in the old city of Jerusalem, you can walk and see exactly how the city looked 2000 years ago. So inside, no cars are allowed. You need to go by foot. And it's a small place. It's about, let's say, you can do everything in 20 minutes from south to east, north to west, north to south, sorry. So it's a small place, but it's exactly like it was 2000 years ago. You can go on the Via della Rosa, the place that Jesus walked with the cross, and arrive up to the arrive to all the station that he fell down and see exactly the path that he took until the last place where they crucified Christ, and see the actual places that it happened. So it looks exactly the same. So it's not a renovation. It's not like made up. It's exactly the same stones from the past. So it's a blast from the past.
That's beautiful. So it's actually a city that was never renovated, or not, even if it was, everything is all natural from, from 2000 years, 2000 years ago. That's amazing. Oh, I'm getting chills, but even just thinking about that. But what are other, there's also, I know, when for your tours, you give Christian tours. So other than Jerusalem, where else would travelers visit in Israel? Or I would say, even if it's combined with, say, a package with Egypt and Jordan.
Okay, so that's important. That's interesting because many people, especially if they come from faraway places like the US, they like to explore more than one country. So Israel and Jordan is a very popular choice for many people. You see two countries, you can do it in something like between 8 and 10 days. So the route will be something like this. You arrive at the airport, then you'll go and have one night in Tel Aviv, explore the city. The second day will go to the north. You will see Haifa, Caesarea, Akka, Tiberias, Nazareth, Cana, all the places that Jesus was as a young boy, or let's say in his 20s when he lived. That's the north of Israel. Then you will pass to Jordan. In Jordan, you will have something like two nights. You will see Petra, Jarash. Petra is one of the 7 old miracles. Jarash is a Roman city. You will see the Mount of Nebo and Madaba. That's the places when the Jewish people, when they came, before they enter Israel, God told them, this is Israel in front of you. And then Moses finally didn't go in. When you finish in Jordan, you will go to the Dead Sea in Israel. So the Dead Sea is in Israel and in Jordan as well. So we will go in Israel side. You will see the Dead Sea. You will see Jericho. Jericho is the oldest city in the world. Jericho. You will see Masada, that amazing place near the Dead Sea. Of course, you will see Jerusalem and Bethlehem. So Bethlehem is part of the Palestinian Authority. But of course, you have the famous church in Bethlehem. So you will cover everything that is important in Israel.
Now we're going to move from faith-based travels to, I'll say food and culinary, which is a trend in travel. Where can you find the best food in Israel?
So one of the best food in Israel, let's say we split it between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Because Jerusalem is more traditional, it's a city, if you will like kosher food, that means that's a food that Jewish eat. It's without pork, and you cannot combine cheese and meat together. Jerusalem will be the place. So very good restaurants. Most of them are like, how to say, it's like fast food, but culinary experience. So it's not like your usual hot dog. And in Tel Aviv, you can find everything. So it's true, we are the Jewish people, we are the chosen people. We eat kosher, but in Tel Aviv, no rules. You know, you can eat anything. You have the best seafood because it's coming directly from the sea. You have a very good restaurant. It's called Beni Hadayag in Tel Aviv. If you will go, you need to eat there. They have like amazing, huge plate with shrimp and calamaris. I don't personally eat it, but I know people like it. You have the best burgers, you have the best steaks. So Israel, because we are a mix of people coming from all over the world, each one brought his own thing to Israel. So you can find like a mixture of things that you will not find anywhere in the world because so many people came from so many places and they mixed it up together. So Jerusalem and Tel Aviv will be the best places to eat. And don't forget the wine.
Oh, yes. Where would you get the best wine in Israel?
So Israel, I don't know, it's not so famous, but it's starting to be famous in the wine industry. The special thing that you can find, like special wine, depending on the place in Israel. So if you're going to north of Israel and you are in the mountains, like in the pictures around me, if somebody can see, you can get wine that was grown on like 1,000 meters up in the mountains. Then you'll go to the Dead Sea and you have wine that was grown like minus 430. You have the wine in Jerusalem, you have the wine in south of Israel. So because the country is so different, you can find a lot of kind of wines. So not only one wine.
What would you say? Are you a wine drinker? Well, I'm not a wine drinker, but are you a wine drinker? What would you recommend for those who are, into wineries and love wines?
I'm not actually a wine guy. I'm more of a beer guy. And Israel started to make some local beer, amazing local beer. But of course, if somebody will come, contact me, contact you. I'll give you all the details for nice places that you can go for a one hour tour. You will get some samples of wine, some cheese platers, and then if you like it, you can buy the wine on the exit.
Ooh. Now we'll move food to what's also popular is wellness travel, wellness and spa. And I saw this in Instagram that I saw people swimming or like relaxing in the Dead Sea. And I'm wondering, is that one of is Israel getting popular with wellness travel, and is that one of the spots that people can relax and enjoy, whether it's through the scenery or just swimming in the Dead Sea or wherever, anywhere where there's water?
So yes, the Dead Sea, that will be the place for your spa experience. The Dead Sea is located minus 430 meters under the ground with very nice hotels. So you have like a place called En Bokek. You have like 20 hotels, 20 to 30 hotels. Some of them are top 5 stars, luxurious, with private swimming pool. What's special about the Dead Sea, you have it contains 70% of salt. So even if you want to go underwater, it's impossible. So immediately when you enter the water, you will feel it's a little bit oily. It's like oily water. It's not the best experience for July and August when it's hot. It's better to come like October, November when temperatures are lower. You go inside and it will be warm, oily, and salty.
Oh.
So that's a place you don't want to get some water in your eyes. But people from all over the world are coming for thousands of years to Israel, to the Dead Sea, because the water and the mud, the natural mud that is made near the sea, is very helpful for many skin diseases. So a lot of people with psoriasis will come. A lot of people that have like problems with the skin stay there for 1 week, for 2 weeks, and it's all natural. After that 2 weeks that you put the mud and the oil on your skin, you will be treated. So that's, if somebody has it, he knows for sure.
Oh, yeah, I know. When you said oily, I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't even like, my skin is oily and I'm already like, I'm like, immediately I have to take care of that. Yeah, the oily part didn't sound too attracting, but
Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice. Trust me.
it's, I'm sure it has that, it's nice aside from that. But I do want to ask, when is the best, what is the weather like throughout the year in Israel? Do you have 4 seasons? Does it, I was like, does it even snow? Have you ever even seen snow? Or is it really like, oh, I mean, it's pretty much like a Mediterranean climate where, does it, yeah, how cold does it get? How hot does it get? And when is the best time to go to Israel?
So temperature-wise, Israel is Middle Eastern. So that means most of the places, like in Haifa, it never snows. This year, actually, when it's hot here, normally it's hot. But this year was better than Europe. So people from Europe ran away to Israel to feel better. We have snow in Israel. In Jerusalem, every few years, you can have snow. So it will not be like heavy snow, but it will be closing the streets, child don't go to school snow. It happens every few years. In the north of Israel, in the mountains, when they do the ski, every year you have good snow, people go there, people that don't see snow in Israel. So, but the weather most of the time when it's cold in Israel, we are talking about like 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure about Fahrenheit. And usually it's like 20, it's like go out with short sleeves, everything is cool. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. Most of the year is like this in Israel. About hotels, Israel had a lot of chain of hotels, like up to 20 years ago. They stopped it. And now, slowly but surely, many big hotel chains are coming back to Israel. So a few years ago, they opened the Waldorf Astoria in Jerusalem. We have the Kempinski. It's a new hotel in like the top 5-star in Tel Aviv. It's like the most expensive one right now. We have the Ritz-Carlton in Herzliya. It's a city about 5 miles from Tel Aviv. But we have a lot of local chains. So we have the Fatal chain, we have the Dan chain, the Israel chain, the Crown Plaza chain. Crown Plaza, actually, it's international, but yeah, we have local chains. It's very nice hotels in Jerusalem as well. So it's not a big chain. It's an Israeli chain, but it's good. It's good.
Now, when is low season? When is low season in Israel, and when is high season? Because here in New York, we know that it's the summer, the June to August, and also around the holidays, because everything depends on the weather. But since you have pretty much a Mediterranean climate all year round, which months are the low season and high season?
So we used to have low season and high season, but when people start to find out that Israel in the low season is not so bad, because okay, some rain and it's a little bit cold, so they stopped it. Actually, the hotels, they find out all year round is high season. It used to be in January and February, because let's say they say it's a little bit colder, but it's not like US cold or Europe cold. It's like Mediterranean cold. Again, July and August will not be recommended to come if you are coming for a pilgrimage or you want to sightsee, because it's too hot. Okay, so let's face it, it is hot, and going outside for 5 or 6 hours will be hard. Most people will come from March to June, and then again they will like skip the 2 months, July and August, and they will come back September, October, and November. That will be like the high season. Everybody wants to be in Israel during these months, and it's almost impossible to find hotels, guide, bus, like everything is fully booked. So you need to book ahead. But that's an advantage in the US market. Most people will book like 1 year before or 10 months before. So keep doing it. That's the right attitude.
Now, I want to ask, because you've been in business since 2002. I would like to ask, what is your favorite tour that you would recommend travelers to take out of everything, all the tours that you offer?
So for me, actually, will be Israel and Jordan. So I actually love it because you explore two countries. You see, you don't miss anything from the normal Israel tour. Uh, the biggest issue that it takes a few days more, and of course, it costs a little bit more. But value for money, I'll take it because you explore two countries. The Jordanians have great food, great hotels. They have the Dead Sea as well. It's a very nice place. So Jordan is okay. I'm biased, Israel, but it's very nice to hit two places in the same time.
And what would you say the best time to take that tour? What would you weather-wise? Should
So
we
if it was me, like open your calendar, May 2023, uh, like 10th of May until 20th of May, 10 nights in Israel, including the flights. So we will have like 8 nights in Israel, 2 nights you lose because of the flights. That will be it. So you have like 8 months to prepare for it.
and I would say how many of in the past where do most of the tourists come from? Have you gotten American, European? Have you even gotten Filipino visitors from actually either whether they're from the Philippines or if they're Filipino American or Canadian or so forth?
So the biggest market for Israel is the US, like for Israel as a country. Not yet for me, not my biggest market yet, but I'm going there. I'm going there. I think before the before COVID, I think it was over 1 million people coming only from the US. That's including Jewish USA and Christians, and so anybody that has a US passport. We personally have like most of our working is coming from Europe. We had a lot of China and Filipino, Japanese, Malaysian, Mexicans. I had the group just now. It was combined. It was like Mexican from the US and Mexican from Mexico. But yeah, for now, Europe is my biggest market. But yeah, of course. Oh, actually, next month we have a group. They are based in New York. They are Filipino Americans. In the beginning, I thought they had Filipino passport, but say no, no, no. We are Filipinos in our heart, but we have a U.S. passport. We live here for 40 years or 20 years. But yeah.
Wondering if they're nurses. Or a group of retired nurses who, are using their retirement money to travel the world.
It's possible, they say Israel is expensive because, the flight ticket, let's say, if you can look good and you are booking it ahead of time, between $800 and $1,000, ground services doesn't have to be so expensive. If you combine like sleeping in Bethlehem, if you want to make it cheaper, and you don't do it 12 nights and you do it only 7 nights or something like this. So a full package can cost you less than $3,000. It is possible to do a full package with lunches and dinners and hotels and guide and flight and everything. So it doesn't have to be so expensive.
And I think, what a lot of travelers don't realize is that when you book through an agency, it's actually a lot cheaper than, you're booking everything online, like say Expedia, Priceline, because when you book through an agency, it comes with, the tours, the food, the hotel, everything is included. And if something happens, you're you have direct contact, with the suppliers and stuff, whether if you do things on your own, it's just like it becomes a big headache. What do you, as a tour operator, what would you say is your strengths, I would say, or like what or I would say services. Do you think it's what can you offer? What can you offer to customers, like in terms of those services that you can't get in an online agency?
Okay, so in March 2020, when the Corona started, people that booked flight tickets and many services online got stuck talking to a robot or talking with an email or talking with a website that nobody's answering. And only then people start to appreciate our hard work as travel agents. So now in Israel, it's 1 a.m. I believe in personal, no, that's okay. I believe in personal contact. So all of my clients, I'm there for them 24/7. I don't care if it's a weekend, it's holiday, it's the middle of the night, because when everything is going well, okay, no issues. But I believe that the travel agent, the tour operator, anybody that gives services and takes a commission should work for you. You know, you don't own me, but I feel responsible for you 24/7. So it's not possible that a client will look for me and I will say, oh, sorry, it's 5:01, I have to go home. Let's talk tomorrow, you know. I believe in the special caregiving, thinking about and doing like on the long term. I don't believe in let's make the deal now and arrivederci, you know. I don't work with private clients mostly. Most of like my clients are we are a business to business. So I have few good clients and they give me a lot of work and they stay with me because of this personal and 24/7 all the time I'm available. So never say never.
And that's what, that's what's great about the travel and hospitality, is because, you know, you want to provide your clients with the best, the best service, not only the best service, but you want them to enjoy their trip, which they worked hard for, they earn money to, you want them to appreciate it or have them, have a memorable and unforgotten travel experience, especially in a country like Israel. I do have two more questions now that you
Sure.
said that. I didn't even know it was 1 a.m. there. I was thinking it's like 5, 6 hours. You're 5, 6 hours ahead. I don't know my time zones other than, New York,
Yeah.
East Coast, Central Time, Mountain Time. But I do want to ask, because you outside of Israel, what are some of your favorite travel destinations that you've been to?
Some of my best places. So let's stay with the Philippines. I will not say the Manila because that's just a city, you know.
Yeah,
City, big
it's
city,
not my
big
favorite
city.
city either in the
Yeah,
Philippines.
yeah, yeah. When you're looking at a big city, you have Manila, you have Dubai, you have London, you have Paris. Okay, all of them is nice places to visit, but it doesn't get into your soul. When you go to the Philippines, let's say I went to Davao. Davao, it's like smaller place. It's like islands. It's like beaches. I've been to a cruise actually in South of America. So when you go to Honduras, when you go to all of these islands, that's very nice. When I have a vacation, I really want to be left alone, like sitting on the beach, looking at the sun. That's my kind of vacation. I permit it only when it's summertime and we don't have any clients because summertime is too hot in Israel. For me, it's good because that allows me to travel during summer. And of course, Romania, you know, again, I was born there. I speak the language. I have a lot of clients and friends there, so that's a very nice place to visit.
Okay. Well, I am going to keep in touch with you, Addie, because aside from Jerusalem or Israel being, on my bucket list, one of the things I want to do as a travel advisor is to do educational group tours. And being a Christian, I always wanted to, that's part of my long-term goal, is to come to gather a group tour and visit the Holy Land. I mean, when I say group tours, it's whether they're interested in the history or if they're Christians. It's just ultimately Israel is just I feel it's one of those bucket list travels that people need to see before they die or the world comes to an end or whatever it is. If another pandemic comes.
Do it now. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what the thing is, like, to do it now. I know I'm on like, okay, I need to do this now. I'm in my 40s, already. Let me go see the Holy Land and whatever, and the fun stuff and Haifa and the Dead Sea, and throw in Jordan and Egypt there too. Well, Addie, thank you for staying up.
Thank you.
You can get some sleep now. And rest easy, and hope to have you on again. We could discuss more about more tours or more experiences, and why why travelers should go to Israel, Jordan, Egypt, in their why they should have it in their itinerary of things to see in the world. So thank you, Addie, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
And thank you to our viewers, because without your help, this would not be possible. Smart People Travel Wise airs every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Pacific. I'm Tenny Samagi. See you all again next time.